Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Six Figure Souls Doing Good and Making Money. I am Camille Miller, your host today and founder of the Natural Life Partnership, a global community for soul-centered entrepreneurs. Welcome to another episode. Today, we have two very special guests, Susan Jarema, the founder of New Earth Marketing, and Carolyn Cooper McOuatt, the founder of Inspired Business Development. And together, they are founders of Grand Connection. Thank you, Susan and Carolyn, for joining me today.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, and I should say they're joining us from British Columbia.
Yes, we are.
I always like to say where everyone's. We have so many internationals in this summit, so I'm kind of excited. I think we had a mutual friend. Did Deanne introduce us? That's how we met, right? Yeah. And Deanne was a speaker in one of our other summits. And I always ask our speakers who would be great in the next summit because they know what it's all about. And Deanne introduced me to Susan and Carolyn. I've been on their podcast. I asked them to be in our summit. And you guys have an amazing story. So I want to first talk a little bit about what you do individually. And then we'll talk about how you decided to join forces and create the Grand Connection. All right, Susan, why don't you go first and tell us a little bit about your background and what you do?
Well, I started off teaching business classes long ago. That's where I met Carolyn. Mm-hmm. And then I moved on to having I've had many businesses. The last one, New Earth Marketing, I've had for 13 years. I've been helping people have websites and do SEO and helping them have conversions on their website. So combining my expertise in marketing, which is what I used to teach. I've got 2 degrees in marketing, so marketing's always been my passion in life. It's really all I live and dream about is marketing. And except for now, because we started this Grand Connection, which is a new way of supporting our community in ways to market themselves. So still the same thing, but a new way and helping more and more people. So I started New Earth Marketing, been helping people with the website, got into the technology. I have an office over in India. So I got a team there, navigating technology. I've been using Zoom for years, working with an office offshore. But now I'm working with Zoom and technologies to communicate with people everywhere since the pandemic. So I've been reaching customers, in new ways due to digital transformation and technology. So it's been exciting and meeting people like you. Like this is all these things are happening in this world going so quickly now of, what I used to do was, local marketing and stuff is now moving to a bigger space.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Exciting. Yeah. Thank you. And Carolyn, how about you?
Well, my business is Inspired Business Development, and that's truly what I do. I have been inspiring businesses to dream big, to think big, to create business plans for 25 years. And I absolutely love it. And I watch the magic and their courage and their confidence and their clarity and conviction within their businesses to put pieces of the puzzle together and become incredibly bold, stepping out of their comfort zone and create this roadmap to their success. And to me, I love presenting that in a mastermind group. We just finished our mastermind meeting an hour ago, and to have 10 businesses together, dreaming big and supporting each other to grow, to evolve, to look at other options of looking at their business in every segment of the pieces of the puzzle of a business is inspiring to me. I mean, that's the secret. I have a business called Inspired Business, but the truth is the people that create the visions and the directions are what inspires me. And I feel incredibly blessed to have this opportunity to make a difference that way.
Thank you. All right. So I don't know who wants to go first and tell us the story about how you guys came together, and then more about the Grand Connection. And then we'll dive deep into that whole piece in the company, because this whole summit has been about just inspired leadership, I'd say, right? But I love you two because not only you're inspired leaders, but you're like power partners, and you thrive on the community, which I'm all about, right? Creating community, networking, and just sharing and co-creating to make everybody better. So, okay, Carolyn, you tell your story.
Okay, because I'm the storyteller with this part, and Susan will follow up after. So Susan and I worked together 25 years ago and really respected each other. Susan has a great strength in marketing, like she mentioned, and we both taught segments of the business plan 25 years ago. And in our lives, we moved to different cities, we lost contact, and the beginning of March this year, just before the pandemic hit, we worked with a mutual client. She was doing their website and their SEO. I was working on a business plan with this accounting company. And they asked me if I would talk to their marketing person, and it ended up being Susan. Well, of course I know Susan. So she mentioned to me that she was going to be in Sedona. I said, Sedona, that's on my vision board. And she said, yes, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon. I said, well, that's on my vision board too. She said, well, you can come down if you like. I've got a free place to stay. And I said, give me 4 hours. I booked a flight. I flew out of Kelowna, British Columbia within 48 hours, and I was in Phoenix.
Wow.
I actually didn't think she would show. I don't know when you do this blanket. Oh yeah, you want to? I was already down in Arizona, right? I was working there, and I had working on some of my client stuff, and you know, oh yeah, come, and suddenly she texted me. I got a plane ticket. I go, oh my gosh. It was very exciting though, very exciting.
How long had it been since you had seen each other?
12 years.
Oh my God, that's fun on top of exciting. Okay,
and we really knew each other well. Like it you know, you think, oh well, you know, we hadn't talked to each other, but it just, Carolyn got on a different path in her life and had other obligations, and she moved away. And we were close. Our kids were the same age. Like my daughter had all her daughter's clothes because her daughter was 1 year old. Like it was that close of a friendship that I got the box of the clothes from Carolyn. And we each have a boy and a girl. Girls first, boys second. So we had so much in common. We even started to write a book together when we had kids on. We wanted to write this organized books for moms. And so we, you know, we were really close.
Yeah, we were. And, you know, the funny thing is that I have to tell you, when Susan mentioned to me, just connecting the dots, Camille, and you will relate to this so much, just connecting the dots, Sedona, vision board, Grand Canyon, vision board. And I knew when there's that sense of knowing, I knew that I had to be down there. I knew it. And Susan didn't know that I do, but I knew that I knew. So when I landed there, the conference we were going to go to, yoga conference, got canceled, and Susan was so apologetic. I'm so sorry. I said, no, there's something greater here. I know it. She goes, what? You're not upset? I said, not at all. Hello? I get to hike in Sedona.
Yeah.
Going to the Grand Canyon. Can I be upset? Absolutely not. So we went to the Grand Canyon, stood there on March 15th. I'll never forget it until my last breath, I will tell you. And I'm looking at this glorious view, this miraculous, incredible miracle of the Grand Canyon. It took my breath away. I just, and instantly I thought, behind me is all these suffering businesses. This pandemic is going to take entrepreneurs out. They're going to feel so lost, so scared, so isolated. And I looked at Susan, I said, you know what? We know too much. We have to help these people all around the world. I know it. Susan said, yes, we do. So looking at the Grand Canyon, thinking back at all the pain and the suffering of businesses, we decided at that moment we were going to create an online networking community, and that it was going to be called the Grand Connection. And our three values are connect, create, and collaborate. And our vision, even then, was to bring businesses from around the world. And it is just miraculous. We have attracted businesses from Saudi Arabia, from South Africa, from England, Scotland, Peru, Chile, New York, all across the States and all across Canada. And our last event, we had 110 businesses online for our event. I mean, so the power of listening, the power of allowing and knowing and taking action on that is what I want to bring to this audience right now.
Beautiful. It's so inspiring how you kind of tripped over each other, right?
We actually probably did trip when we were hiking down that Grand Canyon quite a few times. My pole would hit hers or whatever. There was some real tripping.
It's beautiful. So many times, even like at conferences, you're so inspired when you're there, and then you go home and it all kind of falls apart. But you guys lifted it up and you went. And March 15th, I don't know when it closed because every state closed differently. Our state closed on March 10th. So
it was the 16th, the last, excuse me, the day to fly out. I got in on the last flight from WestJet. I knew it was going to be fine. Don't ask me how I know, but I just knew that it was going to be fine. Susan had to drive back.
I drove back to Washington, Washington State, and came up across the border. My car was parked, and I was worried about what's going to happen to my car if I can't, it's sitting there, and people were saying, well, maybe you have to take an emergency flight straight home. We weren't really sure at that time, you didn't know what was going to happen with all the flights because they were starting to close things down. And,
right.
And when Carolyn was in the air, I got the notice that Arizona had just declared a state of emergency, and that was on a couple of days earlier. So yeah, it was a few days later when we went to the Grand Canyon, and we, you know what, we got really the best parking I've ever gotten at the Grand Canyon because it was very empty. It was still open, but I think the park probably closed a few days later.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I went to Hoover Dam on the drive back to Vegas, and when I was going west, and there was nobody there. There was maybe 10 cars at Hoover Dam. It was still open.
Yeah.
And they were checking your cars. They had the military there, and I'd never seen that before because I had some time to kill, so I thought I'll just go there because it's so beautiful and just drive around. And yeah, I went to every single little parking lot and took a picture, and there's nobody in my pictures, no other cars. It was weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long after you guys got back, right, did I imagine everything was just spinning, but that you launched this whole idea?
Honestly?
It was around 2 weeks. We right away, I said
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We started marketing it sooner. We just said, let's have a webinar. That was the first thing we did. Was we had a webinar to help people with digital transformation. And so I invited all my clients. Carolyn invited all of hers, and we had our first event. And it
was bad.
Was it
bad?
Mute, unmute. Really... People didn't know how to use Zoom yet, right?
Yes,
so
right.
Everybody was really awkward. Carolyn and I talked over each other all the time. It was good though. We got an accountant on, and he helped people with there was these benefits being launched locally, so from government. So
right, yeah,
it was very helpful that people could just ask questions to an accountant for free and figure out how to navigate some of that. And then we talked about how you could quickly get an online store going if you were to get digital, or if you had online training offline how to move that online. And we had some people sharing ideas. So information was good, but we were navigating the technology, all of us. First time using a larger group on Zoom for sure.
Yeah. Well, from there it grew much larger.
Well, it did. And I just have to say, the reason I said it was bad is because we're really willing to just dive in to do this.
Right.
Even
2 weeks.
when we didn't know everything that we needed to do, and that we're willing. And what we've done along this journey is we've surrendered to the next step each time. So we started with a vision that was this big, then it moved to this, and then it moved to, so just being flexible and open to just allowing it to grow to the next form. So we created a formula. So our formula now is we have 2 events a month. One is what we call the show, which is 2 rounds of networking, an expert speaker that we choose from around the world that will share an expertise. For instance, our next speaker is in January, and he's a productivitist. So we have them share for 20 minutes, questions and answers, and then the businesses break out into a mastermind group, which you know I love, is they talk about the ideas and we direct them into a process that they'll collaborate in a small group with 3 to 4 businesses. And then we come back together and wrap up. The second event we call Real Time Connections. And that's where we bring in joint venture partners to create interest. And in January, we have a wellness theme that we are collaborating with Deanne, who you mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And so we have each joint venture partner speak and share with the group, and then a breakout session after to look at connect, create, and collaborate, how to do that within your business online, on Zoom, to grow your business and connect globally. We've had amazing success with businesses forming partnerships, collaborations, to come together to be successful in sharing resources, marketing structures, that type of thing.
Yeah. So how many people do you have working behind you two during this part? Is it just the 2 of you?
Sort of.
Yeah. Well,
I have my team from my business, so I've got the team, like, so my support team in India and a couple of VAs around here that I'm delegating little tasks. We've been, getting a little bit of marketing support to help us, because running events online is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I haven't really done that before. Like I coached clients in it, but to actually do it, and I have been working in this space for so long that I don't really market myself. I get referrals, and that's my business. And now we're marketing to get people to know about the event and to grow the community, because we want a large community, because the more people we have in the community, the more ways people can connect, create, collaborate. So the larger the community, the better for everybody. So that's the goal, is to grow it so that we can all be able to find the power partners we need, the contacts we need, the people we can collaborate with, and really search for the right fit and meet different people, right?
Also, we have volunteers, an amazing team of volunteers that are facilitators that we have a separate meetings with, that they facilitate the mastermind breakout sessions in the show. So they have been an incredible support system in sharing on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, sending out invitations with email, following up, and inviting their communities to come to the Grand Connection too. Gotcha. Beautiful. I thought you were going to say something, Susan.
I'm just waiting.
It's okay.
People's always you're watching, right? But the facilitators have made the masterminds very good, because you know how when you land in a Zoom room and you've probably done networking and nobody knows what to say, right?
Yeah.
When you have a facilitator that's been assigned to the room, they will help lead it and make everybody feel welcome. And some people were new to this form of networking, right? So they don't know what to do in a room, and they don't know that they're on mute, and they talk, or they do, they do their introduction for 5-10 minutes, and they're very clear at, you got your 1 minute right now, and they're good with the timers, and they keep it fair in the room and keep the conversation about giving and sharing.
Beautiful.
They've really good. Yeah. The support from them has been wonderful. And they're, they become friends now. It's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a way that they can reach each other outside of that connection? Yes. They have each other's information? Yes, they do. And we have a separate meeting with all the facilitators prior to our events, so they feel really grounded in the exercise that's going to happen in the mastermind group. And what's happened is they become really close, collaborative support system for each other in their own businesses. So for instance, we have facilitators in all different cities, all across the States and Canada. I mean, that's why I just love this global concept. Yeah. It is so great
to know. I mean, I feel so close to businesses in Scotland, in England, in Raleigh, North Carolina. Like, when would that happen if we were not connecting on this platform right here? It just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of what happened in 2020. Right now, everyone needs to have some type of global aspect to their business. And if they didn't think that big before, it's so easy to think it now. And one of the beautiful things that I thought happened, this year was the connections I've made. So my word for the year was relationships, but I've made so many connections because the pandemic made me feel like it was the great equalizer, right? I can say, oh, what's happening for you, right? In Dubai, in Thailand, in Germany, like no matter who I was talking to, they were going through exactly the same thing. And I would have never had that easy conversation. And I used to always open up with that because one, I was really curious, like, because we only hear our side, right? So I wanted to hear what it was like in the rest of the world. And if there was fear, if there was love, like what their restrictions were, was it the same everywhere? And I thought it was like a great equalizer, but it also allowed our businesses to have no boundaries, right? We were always, well, we went from like the Northeast in the States, and then we do have Canada. So we started to go international and we have people, but not like it is now. Right. I talk to people all over the world. I have clients all over the world, and it's pretty awesome. And I think that's the beauty of what happened. And I don't think it's ever going back.
No, and everybody's loving it. And the unity, like, it's bringing people together.
Unity.
Like,
I love that. Mm-hmm. I agree. All right. So what do you think? Let's share. This might be different in your individual businesses, but if you could share a moment when you didn't feel like you had it all together, because I think all entrepreneurs, all leaders kind of go through that, oh crap, did I climb up the wrong mountain? You got to the top and you're like looking around going, oops, maybe my ladder should have been on that now.
So this morning I didn't have it all together. That's what it was. We had Carolyn's running a mastermind group right now, and I hadn't done my homework. So I had to get to the meeting, and then she asked me what the vision I'd written for it, because we're doing the business plan on the Grand Connection right now.
Okay.
Because this is so new. Like, we know we need a plan. She's running one of her masterminds. It's called the Grand Plan, going on right now. And she said, Susan, you got to come do it. You got to work with us on this plan. And I wasn't prepared, and I felt a little unprepared and uncentered on the whole thing. Sorry, Carolyn. I'm going to be better prepared next week.
I'll help you too, Susan.
Yeah, I know. I need some help from you.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
And we are partners, and we're so busy. Like, it's a busy time of the year. This is right now we're recording this. It's December, so you're still sort of planning the holidays, even though they're going to be very different holidays with less people, and trying to make special things for the family that's not going to be around, and get everything mailed off and stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to manage this. It's just busy. It's really busy. And we've been working on our back end, because we're launching the website in the new year with a directory, and that's a lot of work. And so I'm overwhelmed with the amount of work at the moment. So definitely felt out of it this morning. Yeah.
Okay. Carolyn, how about you? A moment when you didn't feel like you had it all together. It could be anywhere in your career or your time or your business.
Well, I'll tell you, when I felt I didn't have it all together is when I faced a family health issue. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it was the most challenging time for me. One of my family members was very, very sick, and I had to make a decision. My business was soaring. I had 6 different groups going on. I had keynote presentations. I was emceeing large events. And there was a moment in time that I knew I had to let go of all of it in an instant because of what my family needed. And I knew that was the decision. And it was one of those moments in time of complete surrender. And I let it go. My one family member, her health is much better now, thank you God. And it took a couple of years to do that. Yet I knew I had this feeling in the back of my heart and my soul, knowing that when I came back, I knew that I would be functioning from a higher position. And I have since then. And that it's a sense of immense gratitude for my opportunity to serve right now. And it feels much more relaxed and meaningful and clear. And that was a really challenging, learning, surrendering, humbling experience. And I think it's just led to my purpose and passion even more.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think we often talk about, at least in this summit, of just allowing things to happen instead of trying to control everything that's happening. You know, and it brings like almost a greater sense of business for me anyway.
Well, it does for me too. And what came to me, I have these universal download, magical, mystical, menopausal moments at 3 or 4 a.m. And so this is what came to me today is my philosophy in life is living above the line. And what came to me in the middle of the night is letting go, allowing to lead. So it's still LAL, but it's let go, allow to lead. So it's exactly what you're saying, precisely right now. And creating that space for grace that I call it, like just that space to listen, to hear, and then just become clear on what that message, that idea, that concept, that next step is, and then leading from that level of trust and knowing.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Susan, what's a core value for you?
Well, our values for the 3 main core values of the Grand Connection are connect, create, and collaborate. I think collaboration really resonates with me the most of those ones, because that's what makes that difference in how you can grow and other people can grow together. It's not competitive. I've never looked at other people as competitors. I've always looked at them as possible strategic alliances, colleagues you can talk to about the same thing. Even like I've got so many friends that have other web and marketing agencies, and we go for coffee and we just share our problems, and we share our contacts. Even like one of them, she gave me a great SEO guy that she was using, that a lot of people would say these are you don't want to share this stuff, it's your proprietary information. But if you just can share and be open, your life is it's more graceful. You're in a sharing, caring place, and you have lots of friends, and you can call them up. Like, one of my colleagues, she's got a marketing agency. Like we're best friends, and we call each other up with questions and answers. And I will give her work that I don't want to do. She gives me work that she doesn't want to do. This is a better fit for you, and we're collaborating on everything. And the people in our group, like we're trying to create this space where people can collaborate by, you get a chance to meet somebody that possibly lives in a different country. Maybe they're doing the very same thing as them, but they live in another country, and then they're not competing in the same way. And then they can maybe write a book together, or put a program together, or share ideas, or share a spreadsheet of something that you put together, that's some sort of a system that that you can both do better with, and you can both be better in your own markets. So it's just finding that openness to be open to the collaboration and not look at everything as competition.
Beautiful, beautiful. Carolyn, do you feel that there is a purpose greater than yourself?
Yes. Yes. I feel that, truthfully, the greater purpose other than myself is what I really do in my business. I feel that each of us are here to serve in a unique way, and that we have gifts and talents and strengths to show up and impact other people's lives, and to let go of any self-doubt or ego or anything around that, that if we can realize that our purpose is to serve from that place, the magic happens, that you attract the exact clients that inspire you. Like I love inspiration. I love energy. I love functioning from the place that I get to function from. And it's because of what people are attracted to my energy. But I also believe that that's my gift, to share that too. So it's a circle. It's a whole circle of purpose. And, you know, I just think each of us has to find out for ourselves what that intimate connection is to our greater purpose to serve in our products and service delivery and the way we show up, stand up and speak up.
Agreed. I think when we come from a place of service, we can help so many more people than when we come from a place of competition, which is based in ego, right? Mm-hmm. When we all just see the differences we all have and honor them. So even though someone might do the same work, like you were saying, Susan, they do the same work, but it's really not the same work, right? If you give all chefs the same recipe, all the food comes out different. Following the exact same recipe, it always comes out different. So I think a place when you come to serve others, that's where the beauty is. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like I come from a place of abundance over competition. Like, because I don't believe there is competition, because you are the differentiator. Whatever you're doing, you are the differentiator. So you might as well just help everybody else.
Absolutely. And I also think it's about, you know, sharing the love. If we get really bottom line here, you know, I love business planning. I watch people transform their lives, but that's my love, but I'm allowed to share that with you. And if you're ready to do that, you'll come and play in my sandbox. I mean, Susan loves the whole transformative aspect of, you know, attracting the right clients with her business. She's got a real unique way. I mean, Camille, you have your unique way, but I still think the bottom line is just really showing up from that deep, deep sense of caring about people.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. So any final thoughts or takeaways for anyone that might be watching this? I'm always hoping that the people watching this, well, it's not even a hoping, it's a knowing. I know that someone's watching it at the exact moment that they needed to hear whatever words were coming out of your mouth, right? And that's why we keep it as an evergreen product. But just in case they're thinking of starting a new business or taking it to that next level, or they're standing over the Grand Canyon listening to this, any final thoughts or takeaways that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, if you're standing over the Grand Canyon, download it first, because the internet's not very good there. So make sure you downloaded Camille's Summit onto your phone, and then you can listen. One thing I want to add in, I have a background in yoga, and I remember when I was studying the Bhagavad Gita, it's a story about Arjuna, and he's trying to find his dharma, which is your purpose. I struggled at that time because that was a different time of my life, and I didn't know at that moment what my purpose is. And if you're at that place, don't let that be something that takes you down, that you don't have a purpose, because there is something there. And this is when you come back to you, Camille, when you're talking about surrendering, right? Something will come out, and just be open to it and be easy on yourself. That just keep doing the best you can at whatever you're doing. If you're cleaning your house, do it with greatness, do it with grandness. Like do everything. Like when I'm connecting with my kids, you know, I'm going to have this conversation with my daughter. I'm going to do it the best I can and try to communicate in the ways that show her I love her. So it's just, you can be purposeful in all little elements. You don't need to be, you know, maybe if you don't have that grand vision yet, something may come, but also be purposeful in all the things of your life, and you'll just live in a meaningful way.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm going to add to that as my last little word. So we have decisions that we make all day long. We have choices that we make all day long. And I'm going to invite you to just be curious what that could be. Just have this open state of wonder to what your purpose could be. And you'll get those messages. Like I spoke before, listen to your internal voice of wisdom. It is always speaking to you. And just spend some distracted time away from technology, just in silence, just to hear that. Listen, allow, and that will lead you to your purpose. Have faith. Thank you.
I love it. So you have a free gift that you're going to offer our listeners. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, we have our Grand Connection that has 2 events every month, and we will offer your listeners a complimentary invitation to attend one of the events for free. You just need to reach out to us at grandconnection.ca and send an email, and we will send you an access code to be able to log in for free.
Yeah, we'll actually put that on a button below. So it'll be really easy just to get in contact with you, or if you want to give us a link, we can do that as well, however we set that out. But people will have all of your information here on the speaker page, so you can reach out to them. If you have any questions and you can't reach them, you could reach out to me, and I will promise to get you in touch. But I definitely recommend taking them up on the free offer to join one of the connections. I have tried it out myself, and it was pretty awesome. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of this summit and for giving me your time.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
It was really a terrific conversation. I enjoy the both of you so much. If you are listening to this summit and have any questions, concerns, or you absolutely love it, you can follow us on our Facebook page and continue the conversation and let us know what you think. All right, ladies, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Meaningful, Camille.
Thank you.
I would like to just commend you for serving the way that you do. I really appreciate it. And I think that's how I feel so connected to you, because we are a kindred spirit. And I just think that you are really supporting a lot of businesses around the world. And I thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.